petition that seems to have been ignored. It was supposedly, this was brought up back in May. There's one copy of it there. There's a second subject. This is the subject right here that we're talking about right now. At the 22nd May meeting, it was discussed that that petition for the fire chief was going to go to the voters. According to MMA, you guys had 60 days to do this. It's past 60 days, so when's it going to go to the voters?
Okay, the open talking for the 15 minutes isn't to try to get away from getting on the agenda.
Oh, no, wait a minute now.
Let me finish. We'll be happy to put you on the agenda for the next meeting so we can discuss this, because we're not going to be able to give you a decision tonight until we read this. New board.
Okay, now, when I first submitted this on the 22nd, it has never been brought up since then.
Okay.
So, you know, these two guys knew about it.
Okay.
How come it hasn't been done? Because they were the old board, which lasted until, you know, almost 45 days of it was already gone.
And what I'm saying is, we'd like to put it on the next agenda so the other three board members can get up to speed on it.
All right.
Give you some intelligent answers.
Well, you know, it's like right here. When you read this, what I put in this, you know, it's like that. The other thing I want to talk about tonight.
Hang on 1 second. Can you fill out a complaint form?
I've already.
Does he have one? Is there a complaint form about this?
That's a complaint form right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay. The second thing I want to talk about was the election. The board put on a question onto the ballot that pertained to an ordinance for the fire department. Okay. By state statute, the selectmen are not supposed to be making those recommendations. The planning board is supposed to make the recommendations. The selectmen are supposed to either act on it or do whatever they're supposed to. Now, the second thing about this is when they voted on this, there was a very big conflict of interest, because two of the three selectmen were, one of them was the fire chief and one was the assistant fire chief. And monetarily, how did it affect them monetarily? They're voting on their paychecks. That's what they would, you know.
It's my understanding that was basically.
Rob's not an assistant chief.
He's not an assistant chief, so he just gets the stipend like a regular fireman does. What you're talking about in front of the town for the fire chief was to turn that from being appointed to elected.
Right.
So where's the monetary issues there?
The monetary issue was with everything else that went with it. And the conflict of interest comes definitely. I also talked to a judge of mine, friend of mine, and he told me that if it was in his court, there would be no doubt there would be a conflict of interest.
But it's not in his court.
It's not in his court right now.
But understand that conflict of interest is defined as somebody
Here's,
having monetary benefit.
it's right here, what the legal definition of it is. And it's not just monetary.
So
It's not just monetary. It says other definitions in there too.
So what do you expect to get out of this?
I don't know what I want. I want.
So how are we supposed to help you?
How are we supposed to help me?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I believe that you know, somebody. The petition should go through. There was 45 signatures on it,
Okay.
and this right here, this particular ballot was put on because of that. And you know,
But
when you put it on the 22nd, they said that they were going to put this on the ballot later. Between the 22nd and the 30th, they came up with this ordinance. And if you read the change in the ordinance, they didn't think it through. It wasn't thought through, it wasn't processed right, and it should have never been on the ballot.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop you there. I think we've heard what we need to hear on that. Again, we're gonna have to get educated on it. And Scott, if you could put him on the agenda on a new business, Mr. Daly's 2 issues, no bother.
The first issue is not just me, because that petition where I spent that complaint in was signed by 10 other people, along with me about that.
Well, 10 people don't make the town.
No,
10
No.
people do not make the town.
no,
And
but
we're not gonna take direction from individual people.
Okay.
Because we represent the town, right?
Okay, well,
Just
now
preparing you
another
for
thing
just preparing you for some of the pushback you're gonna get.
okay, now another thing I would like to know is how come election there was no Canton Crier put out on anything to do with the ballots? Nothing.
I don't know, but that's not a policy or a rule.
It's going to be.
We will look at this and we will talk about it in the next meeting. We'll give you your time.
I don't need the time. You guys need the time. I already know where it legally stands.
Chris, we're done,
Yeah.
okay?
Hmm?
I'm gonna tell you something right now. On camera,
Mm-hmm.
we're not gonna take harassment anymore. Period, the end. Let me finish. We are not gonna take harassment from anybody in the town. Sorry about that. This is not gonna turn into the way history's been, okay?
You think I'm harassing you guys?
I'm telling you, and I'm making sure you understand.
Do you
that.
think I'm harassing you guys?
When you come into this meeting next week, okay, or whenever we're having it again, you're not gonna come in here and continue to take the time of the Board of Selectmen. We're gonna do this professionally. You're not gonna come in and make accusations. You're gonna have to have proof of everything you're doing.
I've got proof.
Okay? I'm just making sure that you're clear on how this board is gonna do business.
Good.
Because every minute that we spend on these type of issues, if they're not in the best interest of the town's people, we are wasting the town's tax money. And we're not gonna do it anymore. You've been warned, and that's the way we're gonna do business. We're gonna be fair, but we're gonna be firm. Agreed?
Okay, it better be.
Who else has anything? You're on the agenda, Mark. You're on the agenda, though. We'll get to that.
You're on the agenda, so we'll get to you.
Oh,
in
okay.
the other one.
Yeah, we'll talk about it during the agenda.
Okay.
Anybody else? You are on the agenda as well. You guys anything? Alden, you're up with Mark, right? Yep. Colby, you have anything? All right, anybody else?
Good.
All right, thank you. Let me turn this off. All right, old business, DOT lot. That's you.
Alright, I have the final paperwork from Lorinda on the DOT lot acquisition. Basically, what I need is, I need a motion for us to go ahead and accept this.
This is one you know.
Correct, this is the one that we've all seen already, basically the lease option to purchase from Maine DOT. It is 2 lots consisting of approximately 1.09 acres and 2.57 on the end of Jewett Hill Road. It gives the previous owners, etc. Basically, with the way it's set up, is the term of the lease is 5 years, commencing August 1/14 and ending August 31 of 19. The rent payment is $25,000 due payable on the agreement is signed. Then we have $10,000 due and payable on August 1st of each year, until August of 2019. At which time they're going to credit all of our payments for the $75,000 purchase price, which comes up to $75,000. So we'll end up owing it at the end of the 5-year period.
I'll move to accept it.
Okay. I'll
Second.
sign. All in favor? Okay. Have to sign that.
Slide it up.
Send me a check.
ended up with it after the end of 5 years. Well, we do, okay, that's much better than what was, thought was happening.
All right, as usual, I forgot to review and approve the minutes, so we'll go back to that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Give him a copy of this. He's got a copy of it, so I want a copy.
All right, code enforcement officer appointment. I did what I was supposed to do last week.
Like
Who's the
to,
liaison? Are you?
no, I can be.
Okay, you are.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Sorry, I tried to
I
make
mean,
it
I'm
up.
not, but you usually, yeah, very nice.
Right. What we decided to do, as you know, is we're not gonna renew our, agreement with the former CEO. And we want to bring this into, in-house more. So Scotty has agreed to, take on the challenge and also, get certified again. He has 1 year to get certified, in order to do it, but he can start immediately with decision making. There were 2 permits at the planning board. Last week, I signed them as acting CEO, the chairman, just to keep things moving in town. But, if you guys have anybody else that you can think of, we can certainly talk about it, but, I think the benefits of this, having somebody right in the town office, where somebody can come in, apply for a permit and do all of that transaction,
Right in one
one-stop
place.
shopping will get things built in town quicker and probably more professional.
I make a motion to appoint Scotty Gilbert as our code enforcement officer.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, last full business ice skating rink.
Yeah, I met with the rec committee a week ago, this past Monday, and Colby was there as well. And basically, they've come up with a plan. Colby and I went out last week, and what they propose to do is basically slide the ice rink back toward the trees and go back about 13 feet. And also make it a little smaller. Right now it's 100 and about 30 feet by 58 feet. So we're also going to cut it back to 50 by 100. You have to cut it back in the one direction so that it'll slide past the shed. So if you make it a little smaller and slide it back toward the woods, you get another about 30 feet of parking in that area. So that's the proposal, and Becky and the rec committee, and I think Colby also went out there last Thursday and kind of looked over the place, basically for lots of other issues. You know, there's the ice rink, there's moving the playground equipment, there's a leaning pole going on there, and you know, just some kind of general improvements going on there. So the rec committee's gonna plan a work day for probably sometime in September. Basically get the rink moved with volunteer forces and some donated money, and basically get all that taken care of. But they, you know, we talked about the issues of moving it off-site versus on-site, and whether, you know, liability and not liability, and they thought it was a good idea to keep it roughly where it is, but squeeze it over and make it a little more room, do something
Yeah.
good. And actually, totally off, well, not kind of subsequent to that, I was talking to Christine in my office, and we may have some material that comes off Staples Hill that we could dump there and use to basically build up the parking area.
Yeah.
Part of that. So I think the rec committee's got a plan, and you know, I think they. Yeah, that's gonna get moved over too, and that's more that'll be kind of between where the
$488.25.
3300?
Yes.
488.25.
$488.25.
There's a,
Oh, 25 cents.
there is there's a note. If liquidated damages are waived and surface can be installed in the spring of 2015, deduct $10,000 from the mobilization item. Joints and basins would be winterized this fall if the spring surface is required of allowed. So that brings it down
So
as
we
well.
can see
So
what's
is that
great.
final coating in the spring?
Yes, like they did up here. It's just really good.
Well, you know, I talked to both gentlemen on the phone, and they both had, interesting, well, actually, they both had interesting ideas, most of which we'd already had. But basically what I told them to do is bid it out the way we wrote it up, and when we have our pre-construction meeting, we can talk about some guidance and stuff there.
Yeah.
So,
So, ambulance?
yeah, I mean, and you guys want to award it tonight pending funding
Yeah.
and pending the engineers, look at it.
Yeah, they're gonna look at it,
Make
make
sure
sure.
Christine takes a look at it, you take a look at it, make sure we're all on the up and up. But you can, I'll entertain a motion that says that, funding and okay by the engineer, just to keep it rolling.
I'll make the motion to award it to Manzer, given those provisions for
There you go.
financing and
So your motion is to award to Bruce Manzer for the amount.
$300,488.25,
I'll second.
with the provision of getting approval from the engineer and the funding.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Much closer.
While we're on that,
Yeah.
just, where are we on that? Again, I know
We're
everybody's on
waiting,
vacation.
we're waiting
this week.
between the bank and the lawyer at this point.
Okay.
Well, I left the voicemail for Paul tonight.
Yeah, 'cause we, the way we have it, written up, at the pre-construction meeting, whenever we have, that, we basically need to give them a check for half their mobilization.
Yeah.
So,
The part we're fighting on right now, or waiting on right now, is, the way the original thing that Paul from the bank gave us, the way it was written out, said at the end of it, they needed, information from bond counsel on, where we stand on debt and it's the legal opinion basically on the town. Really, we're not going for a bond, so we shouldn't need that. But as it is, Jack's not a bond lawyer, so it has to go through Pierce Atwood, and we're waiting for a call from Pierce Atwood. I called and left a message for Paul at the bank this afternoon to see if we're not going for a bond right now. Can we just, it's a 15 years flat loan, can we just go through and do the loan, and then when we're ready to roll into a bond, we'll deal with it at that point. That would hopefully save us some time, because they're talking right now, rough timeline, assuming the guy at Pierce Atwood accepts the job, we're looking at least a 2-week turnaround. So,
nice to keep that.
I agree.
I can't, I don't wanna schedule the pre-construction meeting
Until we have that.
money,
Yep.
in place, but on the other hand, we'd like to
Get it done.
get the pre-construction meeting
Yep.
done so we can get it mobilized.
Mhm. Yep. The message that I got on Paul's recorder when I called him today was that he was out of the office today, but he'll be back in tomorrow. I'll try to call him tomorrow morning and see if I can try to slide things along a little bit.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Yeah,
Wanna get it done.
we have the bidding, so we need to go with it though.
Mine and my brother.
Yeah, yeah, well, and I think part of it, he's ready, but he's waiting for the legal end of it.
That's about when it shuts down October 1st.
A couple of projects. Have we contacted Tedbury about something on culvert?
Paul is going to call, when we get to Culver's Flush, and I was hoping the chief would be here today because
Oh, no, so he's gonna call the fire department with culvert stuff and call the,
he has permission to do that, I asked him to do today.
Okay, yes, I'm here about the Alden Hill Road, and it was on the agenda prior to all the damage we received up there. And I have pictures if you'd like to see them, gentlemen. I'd like to know what's gonna happen to that. We've, put an awful lot of money up there over the years, and the road has never really been engineered. And at one time, I believe it was Roger Campbell, when he was, road commissioner, had his own equipment. I guess we were paying for that, and the operator was paying him too, back at the time. You don't remember?
I do.
Yeah. But anyway, dug out all the ditch on one side of the road. Now the road is like this, ditches being here, everything else being over here. And every time we get a rain or melt or whatever, it goes right down the road. Nothing takes the ditch out of it at all. It's been a problem. I've been there, I've lived in Canton for 35 years, I've been there for 32. And 31 of those 32 years I've been over here for this same reason. And, in my opinion, I believe that if we fix the road right once, it's gonna take care of all the expense we've done in the past, and in the future, as far as, what's gonna be put into that road. If it's done right once, it'll hold up pretty good. The edges of the road are 4 to 6 inches higher than the, road itself. And the water's not gonna take the ditch, it can't cut through that edge. And when Jay graded it the last time, they never dropped the blade on the shoulder to take that ridge off. But it's been that way forever.
So the water runs right down the wheel ruts?
No, not wheel ruts, it's all over the place. It goes down the middle. I mean, you see we have some pictures there. Are those, anything to do with Alden Hill?
That's today's.
Today's damage, you guys are up there, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the edges of the road because of that water.
Well, it's had a problem all along. There's no fines left. They've all washed down the hill, and what you're down to now is the base, which is all rock, and when you put a rock break through it, it just makes a miserable mess out of it. And I got a car in the garage that I haven't had out of the garage for 3 years because of the condition of the road. I got a 79 Camaro that's not going on, and I refuse to even register until the road's fixed. Now, every time I've been over here to talk about this before, you've gotten nothing for, not this year. And that seems to be it for the last 30 plus years. There was 1 year that the road was great, and that was when, Craig Gann, put a coat of, reclaim on it. And that held up good, but it wasn't kept up. And, we're right back to the same problem. It ends up kind of like a crash road, every time something happens. And I think it's about time we stop wasting money over there and fix it right and be done. Certainly there's going to be some maintenance over there, but it isn't gonna be the way it is now and at the expense all at once that it is now. I think we've got $20,000-$30,000 up there right now, just in ditches and all that. You look that up, I'm sure there's a record here somewhere. What it cost us back then when Roger was doing it. So, anyway, depending on how the board reacts to this, whether it will go any further. But I am prepared and tentatively on the agenda of the county commissioners. We've been fighting this a long time, we're awful tired of county commissioners seem to think that if the road's in the shape it was in, and we got pictures prior to the storm, the county will fix it and send us a bill.
Who's your county commissioner?
I've got a letter right here from, Scott Cole. He's actually the administrator. He's handling all the,
Works for Dave Duty.
I don't know. I'm just at my wit's end, trying to get something done, and haven't been able to for a long time. This is the last time I'm coming.
Pardon my ignorance, but how long a stretch of, do we have on Alden Hill?
1 and 1 outside of the grass on the edge of the road, that's the ridge. It's not being done properly, so, I mean, you don't need to be an engineer to see that that road is all screwed up. Mr. Cousins here's got trouble with his driveway and so on, he's got pictures there of that. There needs to be something done with the turnaround is pitched totally opposite from where the water goes.
So,
We can't expect it to work right if it's not done right.
so where, in your mind, what would be the perfect road to up there, understanding you're on a dirt road?
Go back, it's a gravel road, but my camp road in Weldon is better than the town road in Canton.
You were up there today, is that true?
I don't know what it was before the storm, but
Well, that's another thing, you know, the board has taken over the road commissioner's position. And as road commissioners, the rules of road commissioners apply to the board.
Provided they have funding.
Well, then,
If there's no funding for
That-
it, then
well-
there's nothing we can do about it.
well, the thing is that the road commissioner is supposed to, put together a budget for the next year.
That's correct.
And if you
But
put-
the town votes on the budget, and if the
I-
town doesn't vote for the money that we
If
put
it-
in for
if it never
roads,
gets
but
there,
if they don't
we
vote,
can't.
but if they don't vote for the money that's put in for the roads, we can't act,
Uh-huh.
because we have no money to
think-
act with.
I think we're in agreement that the Alden Hill Road needs,
Yeah, oh
needs
yeah,
to work.
absolutely does.
How can you sit, how can
I
you sit
would,
here
I
and
would
say
rather
that
do it in-house than go to the county, because the county will come out and do it and send us a bill.
Not, no disrespect, but
Nope,
saying you go into the county really doesn't matter to me, I'd rather fix the problem.
yeah, well, that's what I'm here for,
But
that's what I've
I
been
think
here for.
what you do need to understand though is I have served on previous boards,
Yeah.
I have seen this issue before.
Yeah.
These two gentlemen have not. This
Mhm.
is
No,
a
I
new
understand.
board, third meeting.
No, it's nothing to do
But I
with
will
this
tell
board,
you
it's
that
past boards.
the reason we're here is right up here on the wall, and they all are in common with infrastructure repairs and
I don't know
bringing them
what
up.
that is, so.
Okay. Basically, what we did is we introduced ourselves and told the town why we became selectmen. And the common thing here basically is businesses, all that stuff,
Mhm.
but infrastructure, roads, things
Yeah.
like that, to be
Yeah.
able to bring them up to speed.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I spent 12 years as a real estate broker, selling real estate all around the area, and as far east as Steuben. I sold 1,000 acres up there for 1.7 million. But I've shown quite a bit of real estate over the years. It's been for sale in Canton because it's affordable, so people are attracted to the price. And I only got it 12 years, and plus I've lived here, you know, all that stuff. I sold one house in Canton in 12 years. And it wasn't in the village. It was way over on Canton Mountain. The farm up at the end of the road. And all the feedback that I got. And this is honest to God. People come in, they look at the house, they say, gee, that's not bad, maybe we can make that work. Let's go take a ride around the area. And that's it. That's it, because it's so trashy looking right. These mobile homes are over here on this side of the bridge up on the knob there. I don't know why we're letting that stuff move in town without an ordinance of some sort, because these people building these nice homes up here on Staples Hill and in other areas around the area, are a little skittish about, Jesus, you know, one of those could move in right next door to me, there's no ordinance, you know? So when somebody puts up a $250,000, $300,000 house, and they have no protection against anything like that with the town,
Other than buying the land.
okay, but that's one solution. The better solution would be for the town to.
I don't think you're gonna get any disagreement out of this.
No,
The
no.
problem,
I think you all know what the problems are.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do with it, it's all been past boards for some
So,
years.
what we have been, and it's on, in addition to the agenda that I wanna talk about is, prioritizing roads and getting a plan put together.
Mhm.
So when the road commissioner, the liaison to the road foreman, which is Rob,
Absolutely.
but it's not gonna be,
It's not gonna be what it's been.
it's not gonna be what it's been, hopefully,
Yeah.
but I
But
guess
it's not gonna be a fix all at once either, like.
we're in trouble.
Oh, I know,
We have
I
money,
know,
we
I
have
know.
money problems,
I know.
and we're gonna fix them,
Yeah,
but it's gonna take some time.
I understand.
And, you know, I sit here listening to you about your road,
Mhm.
I've had other townspeople that pay taxes
Yeah.
talk about their road,
Mhm.
and, you know, for lack of better words, I can just say join the club, because there haven't been any roads that have been maintained.
I
They haven't
know,
been worked on,
that's the problem.
and that is a problem.
Title 23 says you've got to.
Well, whether that,
In
I
fact,
mean,
from
I'm not,
tonight, you got 5 days
again,
to
I'm
do
not big,
something.
I'm not, we don't, but
No,
I'm not
we do.
I'm not big
Yeah.
on,
If I go to the county commissioners about this, you got 5 days from tonight.
I'm not
to
gonna
get
argue any of that.
You're on notice.
I'm not gonna argue any of that point, but the bottom line is, the buck stops with the selectmen when it comes to town affairs, and county commissioners very
Mhm.
seldom get involved.
No.
But I really don't care about Title 23, or whatever that was,
Well, I do.
or the laws,
I'm
or anything like
expected to
that.
go by the
What
law,
I
so
care
yeah.
about is getting the problem fixed. That's
Absolutely.
what I care about.
Rather than spend a lot of time worrying about that stuff, let's just worry about what we can do to make it better.
Right. And what I'm telling you is to start, it's gonna be very little.
Yeah.
But we're
I was just
hoping
hoping
it's
we
gonna
could have done
ramp up.
before I died,
Well,
you
I don't think
know.
you're gonna die for
I
another
had
50
4
years, I
chances
hope.
here in the last 5 years, so.
The hard part is, like anything, there's a process we gotta put to it, and
Yeah,
we're gonna let it run the process and see what
you
happens.
guys are in control, you're in the driver's seat.
To a point.
Next
The town has
question.
ultimate control.
I was under the understanding that we need to see the select board to, access public information in the town office. Who does that?
No, you just wanna ask Scott.
No. Okay.
Yeah, you're free to have that.
Well, I did that, he said no, it wasn't part of his job.
What did you ask for?
What I asked for, I asked to look at, my real estate file, and he said, that's not my job,
that-
all I do is register cars.
You asked about building permits or
No, I
something
didn't,
today.
no.
So what do
We
you
did
want-
talk about buildings.
So what do you wanna look at, Mark?
I wanna look at my real estate file, I wanna see my tax card, what any realtor would wanna look at when they walked in the door and gonna put a property on the market.
Yeah.
And that is his job,
When do you wanna look at it?
right now.
We're not doing it
Can't do it right now.
Well, you asked.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
So just so
We'd
we,
like, we'd
just
like,
so we leave it, the way we leave it, my understanding is, we are in agreement, there is an issue with the road,
mm-hmm,
we will evaluate it, and whatever money we have allocated this year for budget, we will try to do the best we can with what we have.
don't we have somewhere around $100,000 in the road budget?
Yeah, but it doesn't go all to Alden Hill,
No,
and
And it's not just for the,
but I think
Fixing of
30
roads,
years
that's
into
for-
correct, it ought to be a priority.
that,
Either that, or why don't you let us secede from the town of Canton and join the town of Jay? That'd make a lot more sense for everybody.
how do you do that?
that would make it easy for us.
It's gotta go 2 years, I guess, so it's about a 2-year process. Yeah, gotta go through the legislature twice.
I don't believe Jay would go for that.
Jay doesn't want.
Well, they were gonna do it at one time, they would.
That
I
was-
don't know what the feelings are now. I'm
I was
still,
told that they're not interested in either one, either there or,
Can't
Cassie
run.
Road.
what was it?
Cassie Road.
Cassie Road, no, there's not much over there of Jay's anyway, is it?
Jay,
Yeah, on the Tessie,
majority of it's Jay.
yeah.
But getting back to this, I don't think any board's ever really prioritized on roads. I mean, I can throw you out what my biggest priority of roads are in the town of Canton, and it might be different from these gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the first step, we gotta
Right.
figure out what it is. I gotta tell you though, in my opinion, your road is a priority, but there are roads that are higher priority. But that doesn't mean that we should
Well,
abuse.
the biggest problem is we don't have the equipment to maintain the dirt roads, so you got to rock right to that. That's not the answer. I'd rather not see that ever again until there's something over on that road.
I'll make a deal with you. You stop working on the road with your private equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and we will try to do better.
The only reason that's taking place is because of the neglect that is going on. We got cars that gotta go up and down that hill every day, there's 14 registered motor vehicles on the hill. And everybody, it doesn't work. The only one we get to talk to is Scott, and he can't do something without talking to the selectmen, and the selectmen are all working out of bill.
So when Scotty gets your phone call, he either
selectmen stuff all day long. My phone, I always carry
What
my
I'm
phone.
afraid
with
of,
me.
Mark, is you're gonna go up there and do some work and think that you're doing the best, and then all of a sudden, 2 inches of rain comes in and washes the road out, and somebody says, well, he was up there grading it, and we can look at you and say, well, I guess you're paying for the road. I
Yeah.
don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So if you could, make a phone call.
Yeah, oh, I can make a phone call. I just want some results.
We're doing the
Make
best.
that call.
We're doing the best we can.
Oh, I understand. I know, you guys are in the hot seat, you know, and it's not anything that you've done. It's been past boards that just misappropriated things and done things wrong. Ralphie Campbell, when he was working on that road up there, was burying stumps and rocks off the boundary wall. With his backhoe up there. Fix the holes in the road, you know, totally illegal.
Back then,
Huh?
is now.
Was then too. Boundary walls, you don't touch.
Anything else, Mark?
Nope, that'll do it for now.
Alden, do you have anything to add?
Not a great deal. I worry about this winter because if it washes again, those plows aren't gonna get up through there. Particularly when they don't show up for half a day or more after a storm, they gotta push a lot of material.
Yep.
So I think we've got to watch it when it comes into November, what condition that road is in for the winter.
I agree.
But it is, we've suffered that, and I don't think there's been a great deal of complaints for a good many years. And, it just has reached a point now where it's very worrisome if you can get out. And I'm getting old too, and, you sometimes wonder if you have to have an ambulance if you can get up there.
Yeah, or somebody's gonna die waiting.
Because I think Mike covered about everything, and why it's a priority, but of course funding's gonna be a problem as well.
For a little while.
There was one year that they appropriated $1,000 at town meeting, that was probably close to 25 years ago. And when we wondered when they were gonna work on the road, it went over to the sewer department for the road in there instead of Alden Hill. And that was a little disappointing to say the least. So there's been a number of things that have caused some irritation. But, another thing that happened is the town used to have a sickle bar mower, and they usually own the sewer department tractor. And, I don't know where that went, because the sides are growing in, so.
We actually just, they're in the process, the new highway person's in the process of fixing that, to get it going again.
Mhm.
He's, it's actually almost ready.
That's another issue that we're having internally that taxpayers should know about our equipment. Terrible, terrible maintenance done on it. Terrible, and now we're catching up, and we've got a guy that can turn a wrench, and, you know, I'm not saying it's all gloom and doom, things are looking up, you know, it's gonna get better. It's just gonna
What
take
are
a
the
little while.
qualifications of the new guy?
What's his qualifications?
What are his qualifications?
He,
As far as,
he can turn a wrench,
Yeah.
He has plowed in, at least
Three
other towns,
different towns.
Yeah,
very conscientious.
yeah, he's a
He's
nice guy.
Yeah,
He's
he is.
operated pretty much anything for equipment
Yeah.
that there is out there.
And he's got a good work ethic.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, that's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy, his little bit of a test was right here in Staples Hill ditching this road here, and
Yeah,
he really did a good job.
yeah, yeah, we worked good this morning for that.
Things will
That,
look up.
that culvert is a big one. You wanted that replaced this morning?
Bigger than what was there, right?
No?
Yeah. You told me your size it.
It is, it ain't any more than an inch.
Is it 20 or 18?
Neither one. I think it's
We don't.
it's about like that.
We don't
Maybe
know.
12 inch.